You're listening to the Call Kent podcast, where Kent C. Dodds answers questions and gives insights to software engineers like you. Now, let's hear the call.
Hi, Kent. My name is Omar. So I have a question for you. I've been a front-end developer for a few years right now, and I would say I'm pretty okay at it. So my question now is, I really want to advance in my career, but at the moment, I really do not have a university degree, but I do have a lot of experience. So I'm in the middle of contemplating to. So basically, I'm kind of like a dropout, right? So I'm contemplating for either I should go back and finish my university degree, or I spend this time, or rather than using the money to complete my university degree, I should use this money to maybe go for some professional courses or programs, or because I'm a little bit interested in UX and UI and uh, project management as well. So maybe I should use that and go do professional courses instead, because I feel like the university degree is not so useful to me right now at my age. I'm not that old. I'm just 34. So yeah. So what's your thought on this? I hope this is not too long. Thanks a lot. Bye.
And that was the call. Here's what Kent had to say.
Hey, Umar, thank you so much for the question. So, yeah, this one's a really tough one. I really don't feel like I'm qualified to advise you because I don't know you or your situation, your circumstances well enough. All that said, you did ask, and so I will give you a couple of things to think about. First of all, some context for myself. I did get a university degree. I got a master's degree in information systems. That, I believe, strongly helped me break into this industry really well. And so getting into this industry for the first time is enormously difficult for people. Once you get in, then like switching between jobs is a fair bit easier, but still difficult, and especially like in recent year or two, it's become more difficult even with experience to get a job. So that's something to consider. I guess is I think it sounded like you've actually been doing this and you just want to get better. But if you're just getting started, then a degree can help a lot, because not necessarily because of the degree, but because of the exposure that you get to potential employers in particular. So yeah, that's something to think about. Another thing to another thing to consider is that getting a university degree honestly does not give you any better experience, at least in my experience, than real world experience does. And if you are, I guess I should say, if you are a self-starter, somebody who is self-motivated and will research the things that you want to research, that you want to get good at, then I think that you can get just as much value by not going to university. But there are definitely some things that you get a lot of benefit out of by going to a university where they force you into learning things that you might not alternatively learn, because they want to give you a more well-rounded education. And so as I went to university, I learned a little bit more about databases and networking than I probably would have if I had just went to like a boot camp or something, because they just expose you to a lot more things. I also learned about statistics and what's the thing, like some regression to the mean stuff, like modeling and things that I really haven't used a lot, but it's hard to say how much they really impacted my career, probably more than I give them credit for. But that said, if you feel like you're pretty good at motivating yourself to learn new things and expand your knowledge, then you can definitely get that learning experience outside of a university. They don't have a corner on the market for knowledge and education. So yeah, if you don't really feel like you need the university to direct you into learning different or like into giving you a learning path, then I think you're probably fine not going to a university. So yeah, those are two things to think about. Like job opportunities are easier because you're exposed to employers more readily at school. And the learning path is more well defined and longer. You will definitely be able to find some course platforms and stuff that have learning paths, but they're often very scoped and shorter. Yeah, so that's something to think about. Another thing to think about, though, is that it takes a lot of money and a lot of time to get a university degree. And yeah, you could be learning on the job and making money in that time. So that's something else to consider for sure. And yeah, like you also could use the money that you would have for school on a bunch of courses and stuff. Full transparency, some of those could be mine, so I could be biased in recommending that you do that. But just to keep in mind that if you do, you'll have to be responsible for your own learning path. And so, like, piecing together a bunch of different courses of varying quality from varying instructors can be a challenge. And so I'm doing my best to give a really awesome experience on Epic Web Dev. And so in the future, I expect to have a lot of material on there that will be satisfy like the bulk of what people building web apps will need. And doing that with the consistency that would be really helpful and that sort of thing. So that's another thing to consider, is just like the cobbling together a bunch of different courses to create your own curriculum can be a bit of a challenge too. So like, yeah, there's a lot to weigh here, and I'm not going to tell you which one you should do, but I will say that with the knowledge that I have about my own situation, if I were just plopped down into the world of software development in my part of the world, with having a little bit of savings and stuff, I would probably not go to the university, especially if you're a little bit older. The best thing that I got out of university was I met my wife there, and everything else was like nice to make friends and stuff. But I could have for myself. I am pretty much I'm a pretty good self-starter. I'm self-motivated. I could make something my own curriculum, and so I don't think that I would go with the knowledge that I have now about the industry and things. I think I would just what I would do from day one is start building a lot of things. And start consuming a lot of information. Like there's a lot of free stuff out there. Find some people that create some good content. Try it to avoid analysis paralysis, and also try to avoid tutorial heck, where you just spend all of your time going through tutorials. Try to actually build something that's actually useful and interesting, self-motivating, and all the while start applying like crazy to a bunch of different places to work. So that's what I would probably do now. Again, I didn't do that, and so I can't tell you for sure whether that would work well. But there's just some thoughts about that. I hope that is helpful to you, and I'd love to hear an update of how things go, whatever you decide. Good luck, and have a nice day.
This has been the Call Kent podcast. Learn more about Kent at kentcdodds.com and get your own questions answered at kentcdodds.com/calls.